sitting right here next to each other to make sure that don't happen, because it doesn't look good. It's not going to play well for either one of us.
I literally swear to God, I don't even remember you saying that.
And that's exactly why I had Eddie
Hey guys, we gotta talk. You know I love this segment when we talk about this. I want to be very frank and very honest with you. I actually really do understand where Jess Hilarious is actually coming from. I mean, imagine you going away on maternity leave and coming back and your job has been quote unquote replaced. Or better yet, you've been downsized and someone else has come in and taken your place. I totally understand how her feelings will feel angry, hurt, and she would feel betrayed by what has been done. And let's be honest, this is a higher ups move of what we call passive aggressive move. Okay, this is what we call a checkmate, right? They're slowly phasing you out. Let's just be honest. Okay, so she has every right to feel how she does. But the crash out on the internet, where you go onto TikTok or Instagram and you go and tell the whole world how you feel about your colleagues, calling out your colleagues in a particular way, yeah, sis, that ain't gonna work. All right, because you're in a corporate world. You're not on social media anymore. You're not a social media influencer. Now, I'm all for, me personally, I am all for, blowing the whistle. But when you blow the whistle, you must be also aware that there is going to be some blowback on blowing the whistle, especially if you're going to blow the whistle and then go into work next day and think that no one's going to have any kind of feelings towards what you've done and what you've said. And I think there was also some other aspects of just not being clean in this particular situation. So let's talk a little bit about it. Why do I agree with Jess Hilarious? Well, first, before I answer that question, like it, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you, and stay hydrated because it's hot on these streets. Why do I agree with Jess Hilarious? Well, like I said earlier on about coming back to your job and it being replaced, nobody wants to experience that. But I think also as well, because the higher-ups have been a bit cheeky. And I say the higher-ups because it's not your colleagues, it's those above you. They have not been clear as to what Lauren's role is. And they put her in your segment. So when you came back, you were almost clashing in terms of who's doing what in your segment. Originally, Jess Hilarious had her own segment that she would do, and she would do her little part where she'll have a bit of fun, comedy, and speak about affairs and public and people. How do you call it? Celebrities in a particular way, which was cool. And then obviously Lauren came in to cover for her, which Jess Hilarious obviously brought her in to cover for her when she was away. And unfortunately, Lauren was that good that she didn't get let go. Let's be very honest. This isn't a case of somebody like Lauren who's incompetent, who isn't skilled, who doesn't have some craft or talent coming in and replacing you. It's not a dodo bird. No, this is somebody who's actually been trained in journalistic experience. And actually, you were putting someone else who's probably better than you at the job. And that's what's more crazy about it. But again, I totally understand what Jess's point of view is. I put you in here as a temporary. When I come back in, you're supposed to vacate. That's what you're supposed to do. So if that's the case, and that's what was agreed upon, I absolutely agree with Jess the Hilarious. Unfortunately, life has a very funny way of bringing certain situations in a particular way to us to teach lessons to everybody, not just her, but all of us watching aside. Because what's happened here is an annexion, and she has been moved out slowly. Lauren, who is a producer as well on the show, comes in, fills in, and then doesn't leave. Why? Well, one, she had good ratings. The audience really did like her. The men especially have taken a liking to her because she brings journalistic integrity, right? She delivers a message in a particular way. But not only that, because she is a direct replacement of Jess temporarily, she actually highlights the inadequacies of Jess. Yes, Jess didn't think about that. When she brought her friend or brought the producer to come and fill in her boots, she didn't realize that the parts that she's not improved on, the parts of the skills that she has not brought to the table, the person you're asking to replace you may not be as funny as you, but they have something that you don't have. And that is the tone, the delivery, the word choices, the intelligence, and again, because we have to be honest, right? Beauty is going to be a part of this as well, which is going to be unfair. And then obviously as well, just a journalistic experience and the way that she delivers her point of view. And so it immediately gravitates people towards her. So do the people want to leave, let Lauren leave? Probably not. They probably like her. And they probably saw the ratings and said, actually, Lauren brings good ratings. Right? Then there's this other conversation, which is that how did Jess get the job in the first place? Did they get it because she was great at her job and great at what she did? Was she great at journalistic aspects? Or was it because Jess Hilarious is hilarious, she's a comedian, and she's social media savvy, and she had a pool of people? And did the Breakfast Club use her in order to get the ratings and people to come in to watch the show? One, it could be. It very much could be. But here's again, when you crash out on the internet, and let me play a little bit of a clip now. There will be a little bit of swearing here, so I do apologize. Just listen to this.
That bitch. Not one person Not one person comes to my defense at all. Like when I'm like not one motherfucker ever with this online shit.
Now, just hilarious, obviously went online talking about how none of her people defended her with this Corey Holmes situation and just her being heckled, I guess, by Corey, who has some form of going after black women. I don't know what it is about Corey. I think he doesn't need to look at himself. He consistently goes after black women. Now, don't get it twisted. Those black women are not innocent. Dr. Sharon Bryant and Just Hilarious, they got their own issues. But it just seems like he always wants to antagonize and go after them. Now, he's not involved in this video, so we're going to talk about someone. We're going to keep it focused on this. I think what's really key here is that Jess's perspective, as she was talking on the Breakfast Club, was about how the comments and how people were perceiving her. And I think there's a lot of pain for her in her space in terms of knowing that the comments weren't necessarily favorable, right? And so she was reacting to that as well. So it's actually an added pressure of feelings from outer external sources, which is why you hear DJ Envy and Charlemagne telling her, stop thinking about the damn comments and start thinking about the fact that you got to have thick skin if you're going to be on the show. And I think we have to also hold this space too. This is why men sometimes don't want women around. I'm going to be honest with you, because this emotional aspect for men is sometimes frustrating. Like we're having a whole arse batch argument about something that you didn't bring into a meeting. Yeah, they had a meeting before this came on the air where Jess and Lauren started speaking. They had a whole meeting about this, right? And in the meeting, didn't bring up some of the points that she's bringing up now. And so Charlemagne and DJ Envy were calling her out on it. Like, hey, you had a meeting and didn't bring this part out. Why didn't you say this? Right? Why didn't you let us know? So this is passive aggressive. You're feeling some type of way, but they're not saying it when you have the opportunity to say it. Instead, you crash out on the internet. That's precisely the point. Like that becomes then unfavorable for people who are working with you. Are you going to, if we have a conversation and you don't like it, you're going to crash out again? You're going to start saying things that we've said in between us in the public? Right? So it's like, again, Jess is not helping herself in this space. But this is a corporate space slightly as well. And in the corporate, snakes are snakes. You give somebody an opportunity, and this is probably where Lauren's coming from. You give her an opportunity, she excels, she does well. Why would I want to leave? Why should I leave? Why does she have to leave? Now, Jess obviously made it very clear that she was not asking for Lauren to leave. She was asking for her not to be in her segment and have her own, which now they've now given Lauren her own kind of segment. But I guess maybe partly might have shrunk. It might have shrunk Jess's role a little bit as well. I think obviously here there is again cases for both sides. There are cases for both sides. I think once more again, I think there's also some personal aspects between Jess Hilarious and Lauren, right? Telling another woman to keep quiet or shush because you want to have your point of view and you feel like you want to talk over her and you think because she talks too much, probably isn't going to help your case or your cause here, right? Unfortunately, what Jess is suffering with is one, is chess being played above her head. The higher ups have played a game with her. And number two, also because she lacked the actual skills. No offense. I'm just not saying that she's not good at what she does. I'm saying in regards to journalistic integrity, she doesn't have that yet. She's not been trained in that way. So the way she comes across as a stereotype, which again, number one, she's not responsible for, but unfortunately she falls into that trope of the ghetto loud black women. And I don't like it because, of course, it's been used against our people for so long in order for us not to have jobs or not to be equal footing, right? But unfortunately, she falls into that trope. And immediately when you put her against Lauren, who sounds more professional? Now, regardless of how I feel about language and how I believe that people label language, how we make one ghetto and how we make one prim and proper, when it doesn't really make if we really were to deep it on another level, where we're really basing the language based on class. But one sounds more professional and seems to have a range. And so that comes across much more differently and is presented much more differently than someone like Jess the Hilarious, unfortunately. Okay? All right? There has been a power dynamic shift. There's been a preference, it seems, for Lauren. There has been creating division. And this is my last point. I don't like the fact that both Jess the Hilarious and Lauren are having this conversation, especially on air. Because one, of course, it is entertainment for the rest of the audience, but that's everybody can feel uncomfortable in the space. It's not comfortable for Lauren. It's not comfortable for Jess. This should have been a conversation that happened behind the scenes. And yes, someone may say the results have the rewards. I guess the results have been reaped. You know what I'm going to say? Basically, the end justifies the mean, right? With just going online, now they're having a conversation. Yeah, but now you've made it awkward for your colleagues. How do you come back into that scenario and that situation, right? You're saying you don't like that you do like Lauren, but then you've spoken against her in public without having a conversation with her. So how does that work? Right? Lauren's also let you know that she would happily have a conversation with you off behind the scenes first. So we're having this conversation on air now. I hear it. You know, Lauren did try to bring some resolution to the situation. Lauren could step back, but I guess she doesn't want to because obviously she's enjoying it and she's having fun with it, and she's probably, you know, is another paycheck for her also. But also it's another thing, an aspect of, you know, you may not have been there originally, someone gave you a chance, you took it, and you're good at it, and people are responding to you. Yeah, you don't want to quit. I get it, but for me, Jess Hilarious was wrong for how she handled the thing in the beginning. You going out there, putting it on social media, putting people on blast, and then coming back into work, and then thinking people are going to respond to you calmly. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree, disagree? Is Jess Hilarious wrong? Did she right? Let me know. Appreciate you all.